Hi, my name is Marco and I am a Hornet leader carrier air operations Olik. And I know this is not a serious way of starting a review because one shouldn't give away what one thinks about a game at the beginning, but I just couldn't wait until the end to let you know that this is such a great, fantastic game. I'm completely addicted to it. I've been playing it every night since I got it. Maybe you recently saw my review for Battles magazine issue number 3 and the game that comes with it. Well, when I was playing that game, then after that each night I was still squeezing in at least one mission of Hornet Leader. It is a great game, it's very addictive, so if all you were looking for in this review was a general opinion, just stop here and go order your copy. Otherwise, if you want to know a little bit more about this game, well, just keep watching and I'll try to explain to you why this game is just so great. The game comes with 7 scenarios. You have an introductory scenario, then you have some standard ones, I ran 2014, then you have advanced, you have an expert one. Each scenario sheet will give you a brief overview of the content, what the scenario is about, notes, specific things that happen there. Then you will have description of the campaigns, and here you will choose if you want to play a short campaign, a medium, or a long. Then that will tell you the number of days that you're flying for and the number of special option points that you can spend in that campaign. The longer the campaign, the more points you have. These special option points are very important because you will be spending them throughout the campaign in a huge variety of ways, from promoting pilots to buying weapons, buying special options throughout the game. It's really interesting because the way you use, spend, and save those points really creates that overarching sense of strategy throughout the campaign. It will not just be one battle after the other, but because of the points that you have, the ones you're saving for later and you're using, then the campaign gets a sense of strong unity. You need a unified strategy, a long-term strategy. What's interesting and important here is the map that tells you where the targets are in each scenario. You have in each scenario an arrow that tells you where is your home base, where you start from, and then these numbers indicate the targets. Each target is represented by a card, and the farther you go from your home base, so the farther is the area where your target is, the higher is the penalty in the weight that you can carry. So the idea is that since you need more fuel to fly far, then you can carry less weapons with you, and also the higher is the stress that your pilots will experience. So it's interesting because you might have the same targets in different scenarios, but I don't know, if target number 60 here is located close to the home base, it's going to be much easier to destroy than if it's located here in another scenario. So just the fact that different targets will be in different areas of each map in different scenarios will add a lot of replayability, and the targets will present different challenges depending on where they are on the map. After choosing the mission, you will choose the airplanes that you'll bring into the adventure, and these are all the airplanes that you can choose. Actually, that's not even all. Some I'm using in a campaign, so I didn't bring them in this example. So you have first different models that you can choose from. You can fly with the AV-8B, which is a light airplane, has very interesting weapon that can use, but can only carry so much ordnance, not much. You can have the A7, which is somewhat of a less powerful airplane, so if you choose that one, you will have extra points to make up for it. You can use the Tomcat, very fast, very good at fighting in the air, not as much at hitting the ground. You can have the A6, which is great, quite a contrary to hit targets on the ground, but cannot enter aerial combat. You can have the E2C, which doesn't enter combat at all, but watches your back and gives your squadron special bonuses and special abilities. And you can have, of course, the Hornets. This is different types of Hornets, actually. It's not even just one type. And they are strong, reliable, can carry a lot of weapons. They're good in the air. They're good at hitting targets on the ground. But there is a catch, of course, which most of the time they are slow. And that's really what is great about all these people, that there is always a catch. They're all good at something and not as good at something else. There's no model which is overpowerful. It all depends on the situation and what you're trying to accomplish in a mission. The same thing can be said for the pilots, because the same model would not fly the same, will not perform the same with different pilots. For example, here you have the Hornet can be assigned to Gizmo, or you can have Tonto flying an Hornet, and different pilot. Each pilot has 3 cards. Each card has 2 sides, and these sides represent the 6th level of experience that a pilot can have, from newbie all the way to ace. So, and they have different stats. It really depends. At different levels of experience, they handle the stress better, they might fly at different speed, and they have different bonuses or penalties for air-to-air and air-to-ground. So different models with different pilots, and choosing a pilot as a veteran, another one as a green, and combining them will change your game. And the same thing is here. There's no pilot which will be good at doing everything. There is somebody that is particularly good at firing at certain type of target but freaks out the first time that somebody targets him. Somebody that can handle stress very well but is particularly slow and takes his sweet time before firing a weapon. There's really, the great thing about this is that you have all these options, and you will spend a lot of time, certainly, but you will have a lot of fun trying to create a powerful squadron according to the mission you're trying to accomplish. And you will always have this challenge to use the strengths of one airplane and or one pilot to cover up for the weaknesses of the other one. Combining and creating a balanced squadron is going to be a lot of fun, a great challenge. The same can be said about the weapons that you will assign to your pilots at the beginning of the mission. There's no weapon that always works that you can rely on in each situation and at any time. All weapons, and just look how many you have to choose from. All these, actually, each counter has 2 weapons, 1 per side, and they work differently. But they all have pluses and minuses, and how you use them effectively depends on the situation. So, for example, this is a very powerful one. It's an anti-radar weapon. In order to hit a site with a radar notation, you only need a 4 or more on a roll of die. But trick is, you can only use them on radar sites. So no flexibility at all. You bring too many of them with you, there are no radar sites left on the display, then your missiles are completely useless. Rockets, great for defense, very powerful there, but you can only use them when you're flying low. So the person that already is carrying them will be more exposed to danger, because when you're flying low, more enemies can fire at you. These 2 bombs, this one here is considerably more powerful than this other one here on the left. However, this is much heavier. This is a weight of 3, this one of 1. So you choose this one, you can only carry that many. You choose this one, is much less powerful, but you can bring 3 times as many as this other one. So a lot of choices there. It's gonna take a while to get to know all the weapons, and maybe at the beginning it will be a little frustrating because you never bring the ones that you really need, and you find yourself short of, you know, what you need to complete the mission. But just like for the airplanes, when you get to know them and use them effectively, then it's gonna be a lot of fun, and you will find that that period of trial and error was definitely worth it. Like many other solitaire games, you will have event cards that you will draw at certain moments of the game, and they will change things. You might have extra attacks against you, good things, bad stuff happening. Just it has replayability and unpredictability. But the majority of the game now will take place on the tactical display that you see here. In the middle you have the target, and the target will tell you the number of sites and bandits that will be defending it. Now you only have the number, because then as for the type, you will draw them from a cup, so each time you will have different combinations of enemies that you have to face. This, for example, is a weapon factory. It's a lot of people around it, as you can see, and it's gonna be interesting. Now, in a standard turn, you will have your pilots, first your fast pilots attacking, then everybody on the display will try to attack your pilots according to the range that they have, and whether or not they can attack you according to your altitude. And then your slow pilots will get to attack, then you will get to move. Sometimes the enemies, airplanes, will also move, and then you will maybe in turn 2. This is the standard idea, but starting from this, I just cannot give you a sense of how fun crazy, nail-biting, exciting this is. Actually, I made another video to try to give you a sense with a sample mission, because there's no way I can even start tackling the problem as part of a larger review. I can just tell that each game you will have so many decisions that you have to make, and those might be, are you going to try to crash through a certain line of enemies and just push your way through? Are you going to try to fly around them, but that of course takes you more time? Are you going to try to fly over enemies that only can hit low flying targets, but then when you're flying at a certain altitude you will not be able to use certain weapons? Are you going to try to take down your target by firing air-to-ground weapons from a distance, which can be interesting, but of course if you start firing early, then you're not taking care of these enemies and they keep firing at you, which is particularly dangerous. Then maybe you're gonna try to clear up the area and just destroy as many as you can, but at that point, maybe when you get on the target, you don't have anything left that you can fire at the target. There are just so many different choices that you can make, and they're all hard, they're all tough and challenging. The battle is going to be fast and furious and exciting. It's just going to be one of the most amazing experiences that you can have from a solitaire game, I think. In the end, I cannot find anything wrong about this game. The components are excellent and very functional, so that of course makes the experience even better. And then there are just so many options. The replayability is unbelievable. Different missions, pilots, experiences, weapons, enemies, targets. They just bring in so much, and they make each game so different that sometimes I had the impression this is not just a basic game, but I got a game and several expansions with it. Almost, I would say, almost like different games in the same system come into this box. And that is really phenomenal. I have played only several of the campaigns, and each time it was a different type of challenge, and I just don't feel tired. I feel challenged each time. The battles are just so fast and exciting, and yet there is this balance between the action aspect of the missions and then the strategical planning that you have to do throughout the campaign. I like how probably when you start playing the game, you'll probably go for long campaigns because they're just so much more rewarding. Just not because of the extra challenge or you're trying more pilots, but because of the larger strategy you have to create for that, how you deal with your pilots, how you leave somebody home to recover from stress and you use somebody else. You have the challenge, somebody is really good now and you really need them, so you're gonna send them against the enemy even though they might be almost exhausted. It's a gamble that you take there, and it just creates a strong narrative. The theme is so much there, and you get the sense that you get to know these pilots, and you remember at the beginning he wasn't that good, but then he proved himself in that mission, and look, now he can do this and that, but now he's exhausted. Maybe he can work together with that other, or they start working both together. You just get the sense that you get to know these pilots. Sometimes you forget they're just cards printed on cardboard, and I almost feel like at the end of a successful mission I wanna bring them all to the bar, and the first round of drinks is gonna be on me, and then realize, oh, this is just a game. It's just that realistic. So, well, again, it's not the real thing, but it is so much fun. So many things happen. It's a great solitaire, great flexibility from playing a 12-hour campaign to a 1-hour mission. You can play it anytime, in any circumstance you want. It's just great. The only negative thing I may think of is how at the beginning it may take you a while to get into the system. As I was saying, just so much replayability and options at the beginning might be daunting, and it might take you a while before you really make these components work. When that happens, you also will say, hi, my name is, insert name here, and I am a Hornet leader carrier operations Ollie. To me, it is one of the best games of 2010, one of the best solitaires I've ever played, and I don't think I'll stop playing it anytime soon.